Now, you'll need this.
I can't take him.
Stop. And don't make my mistake. If you see one of those things, uniform or not, you do not hesitate. You take it out, or you run. Got it?
Yes, sir.
そうですね。やっぱり一番大きい
The biggest change compared to the original will naturally be the camera perspective. It's changing to over the shoulder, behind view. But we've kept the gameplay style as really classic survival horror, exploration, Metroidvania style backtracking, and taking that as a basis, using the RE engine, which we debuted with Resident Evil 7, to allow for updated photorealistic, reimagined visuals, but still presenting the original gameplay experience. This is the kind of two aspects we've merged together on the project. So it should be something that can appeal to modern gamers from a technical perspective while still bringing the classic Resident Evil experience. It was difficult to reframe the action this way. One thing we can do in over-the-shoulder perspective, which we couldn't do with the original fixed camera, is bring an intense, up-close, claustrophobic feeling to the encounters, especially when you have a zombie that's grabbing you and biting you. It's right up in your face in the over-the-shoulder camera in a way that it isn't with the more zoomed-out fixed camera angles, and that's something that I think we can bring to the mix to kind of make up for some of the things you can't do anymore in terms of fixed camera angle tricks. And I think that we're confident either way. The gameplay of this game is so good that it works in either perspective style. So just because we've changed the perspective doesn't mean that the game itself and the experience is going to be completely no longer like the original. We're respecting the original game and the nostalgia people have for it, whilst bringing a new experience. It's been a balance of having the freedom brought by the new perspective and having the difficulty you expect from a survival horror experience. For example, we mentioned when the zombies are up close and attacking you, the camera dynamically shifts to almost a first-person view. It's so close. And in addition, the level design is something we can use to really balance things out. So even though you've got more freedom in aiming in 3D space with over-the-shoulder perspective, the level designs are much more 360 degree than in the previous game. So some creatures can attack you from practically any angle and you're having to look around and shoot them that way. And that's very different from the more straight-on approach that you had with the stop-and-shoot style of Resident Evil 2. So I think that there's a lot of balancing to be done, but we've really achieved a great balance to make a sensational experience.
しっかりとそのホラー体験というものを表現できているんじゃないかなというふうに思っています。そうですね。もちろん舞台は
You will definitely need to play both the Leon and Claire campaigns to get the full story in the game. They're obviously set in the same place, Raccoon City, and the same overall story is happening, and the gameplay has got commonalities between them. But for example, Leon is, as this rookie cop who's just shown up in Raccoon City, he's really pushing to investigate the truth behind this incident and figure out what's going on. Claire's got different priorities. She's come here looking for her brother, and then she meets this young girl who needs protecting, and she decides she has to take care of her, and that's the driving force behind her story. So they both start off from slightly different places and follow the story in different ways, and I think it's important for players to see both sides of that to really get the full Resident Evil 2 story. Claire is still 100% based on the original character from Resident Evil 2. As you mentioned, the visuals have been updated a bit more believable and grounded, but the two directors on the game are both huge fans of Claire, and they didn't want to just reboot her character in this. She's still the same Claire you know and love. It's just that she just looks a bit more believable in the setting. We have built on the base of the original game's story being reimagined and added new things like areas you couldn't access before in the original game, bringing new depth to the existing characters, or having different characters in different combinations who hadn't met before to bring new depth to the story. So it's a combination of both things, and I think that people will be able to enjoy experiencing the original story and then finding out what kind of new accents and aspects we could bring to it. Yeah, we're not talking about newness in terms of just unrelated things to the main storyline. It's still Leon and Claire's story, and the new plots we've introduced are based in that context rather than just being something completely new for the sake of it, not tying into the original game storyline.
というふうに思ってます。